You have two resources that are going to run out one day. Your time and your energy. One day your life force energy is going to stop pumping blood through your physical shell, and there will be a lot of sadness. But the real sadness will come right before that moment, because a lot of us will go through that process and realize how much of our time we've wasted, how much of our time we spent trying to please other people, trying to fit into a certain box. This causes so much more suffering than many of us, I think, are aware of. If there's one thing I would want for a lot of the men around me, all the men truly on the planet, is to stop doing this. What we're doing when we try to fit in to a perfect ideal, we are wasting so much energy. We are sapping so much health and so much potential that is uniquely our own to capitalize on all of this amazing life that we have in front of us. My name is Gregory, and I did this for a long time. That's why I'm here, because I knew that there was so much incredible potential in this world. I knew that we were part of something unbelievable. I mean, look around you, look at the balance, look at the harmony in nature. I realized that we were nature, but I was missing and ignoring something fundamental. And that was the fact that the pain I felt, I could never actually run from. And that pain came from me trying to be something that I wasn't, tapping into something that was only created by my brain. All of us have a brain that can plan ahead. But I realized early on that this planning didn't actually serve, well, it wasn't useful, because no matter how much I planned, my brain couldn't actually clearly make me fulfill what I saw. It couldn't make exactly what I was afraid of, or it couldn't prevent what I was afraid of happening, because things were always going to change. And most importantly, it was never going to look how I was afraid it was going to look. So that thing you're worried about happening, it is never going to turn out the way you fear it turning out. So my question to you is, why are you spending so much energy and time to avoid that specific reality? Isn't it more valuable, more important, more real, more authentic to take the resources away from something that might never happen and actually invest those resources, that time, that energy, that attention into your potential? But the thing is, your potential and your pain both exist. When you are authentic, so when all of us humans are authentic, we love that authenticity. We love to see people that are authentic because they're not denying who they are. Who they are might be super refined and amazing and incredible. They might have been born with a silver spoon socially and genetically. That might be the case. But also, we love that person so much more when they're just a little bit flawed. It's not perfect when they're a little quirky, because we relate to that because it's real within us. Einstein said that knowledge is limited, but to imagination there is no limit. Now, that's true because knowledge, like I was saying a moment ago, we can never properly and perfectly plan with our brains, with our prefrontal cortex, what is going to happen. We're never going to be able to do that because we can't possibly know all of the fine details of what that person is thinking, what really is best for any of us. That's something we can only feel, and that's something that becomes so much more challenging to describe. That's why the Taoists said that the Tao that can be talked about is not the real Tao. Which is funny because then they had a seminal book that kind of becomes the tome of knowledge for all of Taoism, but we won't get into that. The thing is, Taoism believes that there's a flow to everything. They leaned on the creativity of nature, and that creativity within all of us existed. So when you tap into that creativity, what you're really doing is tapping into a long string of Mother Nature putting energy towards something. And why would you waste that? There is a huge, it's an unfathomable complexity of resources that are coming in to make you, you. Whether it's some strange proclivities that you have, whether it's this desire to be an artisanal button crafter, whatever it is, that burning desire to craft those buttons, and that is not to be wasted. That burning desire to explore North America, or to explore the fine intricacies of human interactions, or tech, whatever it is that you're doing, cooking, making furniture, that is given to you for some reason. But also, what's given to you is that potential of what that looks like for you. However, then comes into the equation, do I just craft buttons all day? Well, no, you have other desires, needs, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you can't just craft buttons all the time. And so that's another benefit that authenticity gives us. It takes the holistic view into the frame and says, okay, to do this, you can use your prefrontal cortex to plan and get all of these ducks in a row so that you can do this. You can plan your life, you can construct your life in such a fashion so that you're able to do this specific thing that you don't really have an explanation why, but that doesn't really matter because you'll never, again, be able to know all of it. So, pain. Why do we have pain? Well, that's kind of beyond the scope of this video, and frankly, I didn't plan to ask that question. But pain itself can really hurt us if we don't deal with it. That anxiety, that separation between who we are and who we think we could be, what we're feeling and what we want to feel, that disconnect doesn't go away, or that discord does not go away. It's always going to be there unless we deal with it. So how do we deal with it? Well, there are two ways. You can deal with it by talking it out. Because, to be honest, your emotions shouldn't be living in your head. They should be talked through. They should be given motion. Because emotions are energy in motion. That's why you feel them in your body. You feel this anxiety, this tension, this pain, whatever it is. It's an energy that wants to move. And it can't simply live inside your body, or else it is going to bore a hole in your health. It is going to stay in your body, burn you up, take resources from your health, your vitality, and your presence of being. You're always going to try to solve what that pain is. Why am I feeling it? Because on some level, your deep unconscious understands that this is unuseful and I want to get here. Again, that holistic view of authenticity. Both exist. Another way that we can become more authentic, more alive, more vibrant, more healthy is by accessing the nervous system. So you can actually trick your body into believing that everything's okay, which then stops you from stressing so much, stops you from being so activated that your energy, your resources are going towards the pain and fulfilling this energy of stress and anxiety, rather than giving your energy and attention and time towards the potential, the greater things that you're here to accomplish and experience. So things like breathwork, things like exercise. You can go deeper and you can do Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. These principles, these philosophies, these ways of acting are very, very ancient for a reason, because they're very useful. And then, of course, you can hack the mind directly. You can reprogram that circuitry that usually says, okay, if this happens, I'm going to get stressed. Oh, if this situation arises, if I feel like a failure here, I'm going to react this way. I'm going to give an emotional outburst. I'm going to lock that emotion in and not talk about it. I'm going to overreact. I'm going to self-sabotage, whatever it is. That's a circuitry in your mind. And there is ways to hack that directly. All 3 of these aspects are going to be addressed in something very exciting I'm doing, which is launching a group of mind hackers, men that are hacking their minds to achieve their goals faster. Once I launch this group of men that are hacking our minds together, I will be posting the links in the description, and until then, I'm wishing you all the best. Take care of yourselves, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, now and into the future. And be kind to that person in the past that you used to be as well. Because without them, you wouldn't be here. You might think you didn't need them, but you don't know the pains that you've missed because that person kept you safe, took you in a certain direction. So be grateful to him as well. Or her. That's all from me. I'm sending you all the best. Peace.